This segment is sponsored by Maymont, an American estate.
It is part of the magic at Maymont Herbs Galore and More coming up on Saturday, April 25th. I'm here with Mike Locatell. You are reblooming iris grower, planter, historian. You tell me.
I'm a grower, breeder, and historian.
Grower, breeder, and historian for reblooming irises. This is so magical, Mike. They are really in full display and getting ready to just burst out.
They are. Peak bloom here at Maymont for the iris display is probably going to be right around Herbs Galore.
What can folks learn from coming out and seeing what's on display here at Maymont?
Well, the whole idea behind this display here, thanks to the help of the Director of Horticulture, Peggy Singelman, is that we constructed a trial garden to evaluate the best varieties that people can grow in their own home gardens. Ones that not only bloom in the spring, but bloom again in the summer and the fall. That's the beauty of rebloom.
I know absolutely nothing about reblooming irises, but I admire how pretty they are. Is this something that a novice can approach? I mean, what level are we talking about?
Well, from a breeding perspective, it's very complicated, but from actually growing the plants, there's a couple of tips that you have to do, but anybody can grow them, okay? But it's finding the right varieties. So I have trial gardens not only here at Maymont, but also at the Williamsburg Botanical Garden in James City County. And also I have planting at 9200 Midlothian Turnpike on the Golf Market there in Bon Air, and also trial beds up at J. Sargent Reynolds Community College at the Ornamental Horticulture Department's display beds in Goochland. And these are all open to the public. People can come and see them whenever they like.
When folks come out to Herbs Galore and More, you'll be one of the vendors that's part of the magic that is that event. And they can learn a lot just by talking with you, and you'll have things there too.
I'll have the varieties that are the best ones here. I'll have my own introductions. Last year I introduced Double Dare, which is a rich Burgundy Plicata. And I also introduced this year Soda Fountain Shuffle and also Metro Blue. And Soda Fountain Shuffle and Double Dare will both be available for sale.
Mike, when we first came up to talk with you this morning, you just have so much knowledge and passion about this flower. Why is that?
Well, I think it goes back to my childhood because my mother's side of the family were all vegetable truck farmers in South Muncie, New York. And I guess I just got all those genes, I think. So I love it. And also, too, I'd met Dr. Lloyd Zerbrick, who is one of the founders of Reblooming Irises. And he's the one who encouraged me to do breeding work. So I try to encourage and also to increase his legacy.
Now, Mike, we've been talking all this time about reblooming irises, but your average bear might not know the difference between just going and admiring an iris in the garden. What's the difference here?
First of all, spring-only bloom is not the same as rebloom. They're not bred for that. The reason why we have reblooming irises is because the irises do not stop growing. In the summertime with spring-only bloom, they go dormant. These guys do not. And if we culture them correctly, then what they do is they mature quicker and then they send up another bloom stalk. Now, I've worked with a colleague of mine, Tom Stilvers, from Roarsville, Maryland, and we've been trying to trace rebloom back to the beginning, back to the species. And we found a species iris, Iris singletii, up in the mountains of northern Italy. Now, that's a short growing season, but when you take that iris and you put it down the valley with a longer growing season, then you start to see the second bloom sequence. So anyway, once we knew that, then we traced it to a breeder from Massachusetts, Dr. G. Percy Brown, who started his breeding work in 1930. And ironically, my mentor, Dr. Lloyd Zerbrick, used one of his irises in his breeding lines, and some of Dr. Zerbrick's best irises come from Dr. Brown's work.
Just one of the many experts, although he doesn't like to be called an expert. Yes, one of the many that you'll meet at Herbs Galore and More. Mike, thank you so much for just taking just a little bit of time to scratch the surface here with the reblooming irises.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure. It's your opportunity now. Come out to Maymont for Herbs Galore and More on the 25th of April. Returns this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the Carriage House lawn at Maymont. It's free for Maymont members and children 16 and under, and only $5 for non-members. For more information, visit maymont.org/Herbs Galore. Plus, be sure to tune in to Virginia This Morning tomorrow for more from Herbs Galore and More. We're learning the art of container gardening with Lavender Fields Farm.